beside you. And I'll give you 30 seconds to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do. And then after that, switch. And give the other person an opportunity to do the same thing. Alright? And then after that, then we'll come back and I'll tell you what to do next. Alright? So let's do that. Just find one person, introduce yourself. Your time starts now.
You guys are just introducing.
All right, so I'm going to give you a really simple tip on how you can do that. Because we're going to use that when we play the game, right? Because we're not going to play the game and you'll be struggling. How are you going to describe yourself? So, how many times have someone asked you, what do you do? Over this week, like just this week alone. Who have asked you, what do you do? Just a show of hands. Oh, wow. So a lot of people, even tonight, right? When you meet people for the first time, what do you do? All right. And did you find it hard to kind of organize your thoughts and say, what is the best way to articulate who I am and what I do? Which some of you may have the challenge, right? And who among you have asked people like what they do this week? And who have noticed that some people, it was very difficult to understand what they're about, or I don't have any clue what they're saying, or they just keep babbling and it's boring.
You lost it.
Did you find yourself in that kind of situation? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's interesting because what happens, so imagine if you were talking to that person, right, and if you were talking to someone who is mumbling their words or not really able to express themselves well, what do you think in your mind is happening for you? Like, what is your impression of that person then?
Confused.
You're confused, right?
You might be shy.
Could be shy, yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about as well.
Yeah.
Putting on a face.
Exactly. You might not even know, like, okay, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. And then as a result, there's a lot of lost opportunities. You're not able to convey your message and understand their message. And most importantly, you're able to fail to make that connection. So what we're going to go tonight is, I'm going to show you a very easy technique, actually, that we will use in the networking game. Because we have a game later on, and we have a prize too. And I want you to win. But before that, we're spending this time because I want to show you how we can play that game really well. You know, I used to introduce myself like this, right, before. I will say, hey, I'm Dondon. I'm the founding partner and COO of Digital Village, and I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations of the business. And we provide digital services to startups and SMEs by matching them with producers who are both technical and business savvy, and they curate IT specialists that will deliver web, mobile, bespoke solutions for your business. That's how I introduced myself. Who found that engaging? Show of hands. That's good. Who found that enticing? Who found that they got actually what I wanted to say? Okay. If you were not from my industry, from IT, would you have gotten what I wanted to say? Probably not. Like, I look back at what I did, what were the learnings of how I introduced myself. Some of the points I noticed was, first of all, I use a lot of jargons. I use things that even people don't know, like, you know, one time I used that introduction. I was seated in a table with other business owners, and I introduced myself using that, and then the lady came to me and said, but Dondon, what is digital? Like, oh no. And she's like my target market, right? She's a small, medium enterprise business owner, and she doesn't even know what digital is. So I failed to convey my service right there from the get-go, right? The other thing I learned was that my message, if you noticed, it was all about me. It was all about what I do, what's my position, what's my responsibility, what we do, what I do. Nothing about the other person. That's really key, as I will show you why. Because to be brutally honest, no one really gives a damn about what I do. But what they really care about is how I can actually help them, or what's the value I can give them to solve their problem. That's the difference. But if I keep talking about me, then, they won't even bother. They'll probably, okay. So that was one of the other learning that I had. And then the other thing I noticed, it was not clear, it was too broad, and it wasn't really enticing. There was really no big differentiator that makes me different from all the other IT consulting companies out there, right? It's a very generic introduction, right? And that's how I did it before. So imagine if you were in an elevator, and you were in the 10th floor of that building, and then it was going down, and you had your perfect potential prospect, client, customer, someone you really want to talk to, and you were looking at the elevator, 10, 9, 8, oh my gosh, I've got 30 seconds to tell them what I want to say. What are you going to say? To get their attention and to tell them about yourself. And that's what they call the elevator pitch, right? Who's heard of the term elevator pitch? Show of hands. All right, cool. So what we're going to show tonight is, that technique I told you is a way to kind of take that elevator pitch to the next level. Really practical. And it's called the Gaddy pitch. Who's heard of the Gaddy pitch? Just a show of hands. Only one person? No one else has heard of the Gaddy pitch? Yep. All right, that's interesting, because we're going to use the Gaddy pitch. It's a very powerful way to structure how you're going to introduce yourself when you go through networking events, right? So I'll help you, again, to prepare for the game. I'll help you prepare your Gaddy pitch. And to do that, we will use some Post-it notes for a few minutes. So in your area, you will see 3 sets of Post-it notes, a pink one, a blue one, and a green one. So please make sure you get one of each. Make sure you get a blue, a green, and a pink for every person. And if you need something to write on, we've got Sharpie pens here, or if you've got a pen, even better. And I'm just going to give some very simple instructions on how you can construct your Gaddy pitch, and we'll use the Post-it notes to make it a little bit fun, right? So, and if you need some pens, feel free. And once you have your Gaddy pitch, then we can start playing the game.